Okay, before you can put a data table together to record your data during your lab, you need to think about what type of data are you going to be gathering. Are you going to be gathering the weight? Are you going to be gathering a yes, no, whether or not it sprouts or it doesn't sprout? Are you going to be gathering the length of the seedling when it sprouts? So figure out what your dependent variable is. Okay, you'll also need to know how many trials you're going to do, and you're going to need to know how many groups you're doing. And then you're going to be ready. To insert a table, you go to Insert Table. Now, the general rule of thumb is that we need to leave the top part we're going to leave this blue one by itself. And then we're going to have to do columns going down for our different trials, like trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, so however many you have. And then going down here, you will have control group, experimental group, okay? That's just one sample, okay? And you might find out that you want to change it as you design it. It really depends on what you pick as your variables that you're using. But let's go back to how to insert it. So once you figure it out, you can just go how many rows across, how many rows down, and it will insert it for you. And then you can start typing out your labels. Control group, experimental group. And so your experimental group, you might actually want to write down like light, control group, light, that one in light. Experimental group, the one in dark, okay? And then going along the top, you need to label the different trials you do. And so forth. Okay. Also, you tend to use what we call an average. When we go to look at the data, we end up calculating an average. So if you're doing it the way I'm doing it right now, you can make a column here. If we only did 2 trials, I would have my average right here. Okay, that will give us a best representation of all of the trials together. So when we're comparing, it's easier to understand. Now, let's say you decide that you need another row. What you can do is you can put your cursor in whatever row is next to where you need, and then right-click it. And to right-click on the Chromebook, you use 2 fingers. And then you can insert a row above. You can insert a columns. You can delete rows, delete columns, etc. So you can add and delete rows and columns as needed with this menu.